going on, everybody? Welcome to podcast Elrond. This is the ZoidPay special. As you can see, we're joined here with co-host Alec, as well as CEO and co-founder Eduard Oneci. Everybody, welcome to the show. And Eduard, welcome to podcast Elrond.
Welcome, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of fun to have this podcast with Alec to highlight Elrond, and ZoidPay is one of the recent tokens that launched on the Maiar decentralized exchange, and that's really what piqued my interest, of course, at the beginning. But wow, it's a great pleasure to have you here, and yeah, it's really exciting.
Likewise, can't wait to talk more on the Elrond ecosystem and ZoidPay.
Absolutely. So I'll kind of start just with the first question to open up the discussion so we can all learn a little bit more about you, Eduard, and then, we'll dive much more into ZoidPay, and then, of course, I'll leave some space in there. Alec, just feel free to, this is an open space. This is just the podcast we're used to. So, Eduard, I'm personally just curious, just person to person, just what led you to blockchain. I checked out your LinkedIn, and it looks like you're into mathematics and physics and software, all this good stuff. So yeah, what really is your more personal story that kind of led you to blockchain?
Yeah, so I graduated from the Polytechnical University in Bucharest, and since I was in the second year, I started my own business. And the first startup was actually through an entrepreneurship program, which was called Young Entrepreneurs of Romania. And I had a lot of mentors, and the mentors actually helped me define and, I don't know, better calibrate my soft skills and to better understand business. So the first business I did with some partners from Canada. And we scaled that company, and now that company has offices in Canada, in New York,
Wow.
in US, in France,
All over
in
the
Romania,
place.
all over. Yeah, actually.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
I now have an advisory role there, and I was always passionate about tech and building stuff. So I started at the age of 16 years old, working and doing my own stuff. And back in 2017, I deep dived into the blockchain technology when it was that ICO craze.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the underlying tech that was behind it, and the fact that the tokens were merely a way of financing big ideas. So that's when we started in 2018. We started ZoidPay with the sole purpose of bringing adoption to users and having a way of, I don't know, accessing, making payments and onboarding crypto in an easy manner, because it was a hassle. I mean, it was really difficult, really difficult, and difficult to understand, not only to do the onboarding, but to understand what it's used for.
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw that you guys started on the TOMO blockchain first. So what originally drove you guys to the TOMO blockchain, and then what eventually drove you guys to leave or just convert the TOMO blockchain over to an ESDT token?
Well, actually, the story is way in the past with Ethereum. So we started first with Ethereum, and on Ethereum, we actually did the first crypto card in 2018 with bank security. It had also a chip on it that allowed it to be used in private ATM networks for you to withdraw funds. And we actually did the first peer-to-peer transaction on the mainnet of Ethereum with a card. So outside of the chain, we managed to transfer Ethereum between our wallets. But my God, the costs, the gas fees, I mean, no way. And we started increasing and our user base, gaining adoption in the market, having a lot of interactions, and the token generation event came. And for the token generation event, we had to pay kind of like $500,000 in fees just to send the tokens to our users. And we said,
Wow.
this is not scalable. I mean, this is definitely not scalable. So we started talking with other chains to see what's the best match for us. We had an intro from a close business advisor of ours to TOMO. We engaged with them in discussions. We liked the whole flow and the vibe that we were seeing, and we onboarded TOMO just because they had small transaction fees and they were open to building stuff, projects, to develop ideas. They shared our vision, and it was okay. It was nice, but last year we said our vision for ZoidPay is to build the next generation of Web 3.0 financial services. So in order to do this, you need internet scale adoption. That wasn't possible with TOMO. This is possible with Elrond. So we get the Elrond ecosystem and the Elrond network, which is by far the best for our use cases and the best foundation, a solid foundation to build upon. So it was a crazy ride. We switched through 3 blockchains, but now, like I said on Twitter, we feel like home because we're here. I mean, we're all in Romania. We can go to Sibiu and visit the guys if we have any issues. And it's a close community, and it's a small community where we know each other and where we can bounce ideas and do amazing stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing, and that's a great, start question, Alec. I found Elrond Network, I think in 2018 myself, when it was ERD, still on
Yeah.
ERC20. So, I mean, it looks like you've been the CEO, co-founder of ZoidPay for over 4 years now. So I was kind of curious, just, you've been with them ever since, you said like the ICO craze. So, I mean, just from a CEO perspective of, this project that is ZoidPay, how did you, I mean, perhaps it's because you're both Romanian based, but how did ZoidPay, how did you kind of discover Elrond, and what was the discovery process, and kind of this realization of, oh, it makes logical sense, and realizing that Elrond was in fact a place that ZoidPay could scale to the degree that you hoped and you see it doing?
Yeah, so we're also early investors in Elrond, and we have common investors in the projects, and our group of friends is also invested in Elrond, has also invested in Elrond. So there are some meetups, tech meetups, in which we discuss different, scalability issues, adoption issues, and also business issues. And every time we presented an opportunity there, the solution was, why not you guys move to Elrond? I mean, come on, it was a no-brainer. So we discussed it, we discussed the move until it became a no-brainer. I mean,
I gotta know, Edward, what is it like working with the Elrond team?
it's
Great
amazing.
question.
That's amazing, to be honest. Yeah, we talk like friends. We chat. So I chatted with Alex from marketing Saturdays at 1 a.m. It's the support we have from the Elrond team is actually amazing, and we have groups. Tech groups, we have business groups, we have the Metabonding groups. So everything is in clusters and well organized, and we can scale faster. So that's the whole idea, not to have clutter. When you have clutter in communication, you usually tend to, not do good.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, it's I know that the blockchain week, I believe, is going on in Dubai, coming up here, and Elrond tweeted, that they'll be there, and obviously that's, it's a kind of a big deal. It seems like Elrond is kind
Definitely.
of stamping their name. It looks like it almost appears as if it's a bit of a partnership, but that's really exciting, and I think. Whenever Elrond tweeted like meet us there, it for some reason maybe it's because we all are a part of this community, but it did feel like a genuine invitation that they wanted to see us, they wanted to meet us and engage. I mean, that really stood out to me for some reason.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've been in crypto for a while, but I've never like been involved in a crypto community quite like Elrond. And just the love that we receive on Twitter just for doing this podcast, and like the community is so supporting. It's truly a different community that I've never seen before.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, so I mean that kind of makes me, for some reason, it reminded me of. I remember there's a part of a interview with Benjamin Minku and he's talking about the idea of the zero sum game, and it's great because it's like the layer one Elrond. Is this shelter, this umbrella that so many things are building on top of. So I guess Edward, for you, for people who are discovering Elrond, for people who are discovering, all these projects on Elrond and like ZoidPay, how do you, as the CEO of this project, how do you see the community coming together, and rather than competing in any sort of way, like how can we both as just, online individuals, but also just in our everydays, how can we kind of support both of these projects? I'll leave it at that. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely makes sense. I mean, the market is so small right now, competition doesn't make any sense. So there's now a time of collaboration and building stuff. So we're actually so early in the game that we've just built the foundation, on top of which other products and on top of which the adoption will be created. So Aaron had the boys had a great idea with the Metabonding program. So the Metabonding program clearly creates a bridge between the community and the projects that are building on top of Elrond. And this is actually an amazing initiative, because it allows users to become stakeholders and feel like part of that project, because that's what Web 3.0 is about.
Hmm.
So it's about transitioning the power from a couple of companies that have products all over the internet right now to the users that can get involved into the development of projects, can share their ideas, they have a echo room. They know that they're being listened and their opinion matters. So that's what the meta bonding program does. And Elrond started off really good with it.
Yeah, meta bonding is kind of unlike anything. I mean, once I've discovered Elrond, I've kind of been a little too close. But have you ever seen something like meta bonding?
To be honest, no. And especially with the upcoming features that the meta bonding program will have, I cannot disclose the features so far.
Oh.
Yeah, but they're amazing. I mean, that's why we engaged with them on this matter, on this topic, and we said yes, 70 million ZPAY over the course of 2 years. Now those 70 million ZPAY are $21 million, and it's amazing. I mean, the fact that we can share with the community and become, I don't know, a bigger company. So that's the whole idea behind it, to become a bigger company. Instead of being just a couple of people that are building a product, you get the whole community building with you.
Talking about becoming a bigger company, it looks like you guys have had some milestones lately. I believe that Chrome extension is one of those big milestones as well. Do you mind talking a little bit about the Chrome extension, Edward, and how it can be used at, as you guys say, 100 million plus retailers, which is, I think that something that a lot of people don't realize how many real retailers that is. I can use it at Amazon, eBay, and so many different things. And it has me thinking about, or I'm sorry, I'll let you go ahead and flesh that out a little bit.
Yeah. So you know why we used 100 million retailers?
Why is that?
It's because people have a hard time understanding that you can actually shop anything from anywhere. So we thought of putting a number out there based on the Visa reports and said, yeah, shop from over 100 million retailers. This is the first product that we put in the market. So the Chrome extension actually allows anyone to shop from anywhere with their digital assets, with crypto. We have an interesting system behind it, and it's blockchain agnostic. So this allows us to scale faster than any other liquidity product in the market. We have integration time for new tokens of up to 3 days, independent of the blockchain they're in.
So,
Yeah,
so you're saying it only takes 3 days to integrate any new token onto ZoidPay?
exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I can also share the screen with you guys. I think that's better. So first to feel the Chrome extension and then to talk about it.
That'd be awesome, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me share the screen now.
All right, we see.
Perfect. Okay. So this is the Chrome extension. The whole user experience is actually designed for the checkout. So you see here is choose crypto to pay with, in what currency is the checkout, and what is the checkout total. So it's designed for you to make purchases from retailers, from online retailers. I'm going to show you now some tokens that are not on every user's account because we actually integrated all of these.
Oh my God.
We haven't yet rolled it out. So you have, I think you have something here, which is really interesting.
Do I see Dogecoin?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
that's
wow.
pretty cool, man.
Yeah, actually, we had, when Elon posted that tweet with McDonald's, we actually bought 23 Happy Meals with Dogecoin and sent it to the Tesla headquarters.
Oh, that's
Wow.
cool, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, elephant in the room, as you highlighted there, LKMEX is the crypto you can select. So I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to pause here, I know the community is full of questions. If you, I mean, please feel open to share anything that you're, of course, legally allowed to. Everybody will be very eager to hear when LKMEX will be, integrated, and I think the big question is, will it be 1-to-1 the U.S. dollar value, or will there'll be some? Obviously, there needs to be a smart contract kind of in between everything. So I'll leave it at that. But go back over there, do your thing, but fill us in on everything.
Of
We're
course.
eager to
Of
know.
course. Of course. Let me show you a demo with Eagle right now, and then we'll come back to the elephant
Yeah,
in the room, to
for
LKMEX.
sure.
Perfect. Okay, so we have multiple currencies here. A lot, actually. So let's say we are gonna make a purchase with dollars. The checkout total is $10. I'm gonna click on continue. And now, using the Maiar wallet, let me just make the transaction.
So you're using the Maiar wallet to scan that QR code, and then it's going to generate the exact number or amount of EGLD that you need.
Exactly.
Very nice.
Seamless.
This is the experience we wanted to create. I mean, in order to be fully scalable, you need to use your existing wallet, your existing flow.
Exactly.
it's really crazy because I also kind of got my start with cryptocurrency in, I'll say, the second half of 2017. And during that ICO craze, it's like you had all of these spectacular ideas, but they could not execute, as you said, with, as you saw had with ZPay, because of, as we said, the gas fees, but the limitations is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy to now almost like rewind and remind myself of all of the utility blockchain has, but then, paint over that this beautiful layer of, the Elrond network, not to get over romanticized, but Elrond network literally opens the doors by what it's accomplished for really, I mean, the sky's the limit, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Go
The
on,
tech
please.
offers a lot of um, capabilities, and especially
Hmm.
for builders, it's amazing.
Totally.
Just did the transaction. The transaction was validated. I'm going to start validation. So now when you click on start validation, what we do is on-chain analysis, finding your transaction. As soon as we find it, we credit your card with that specific amount. So with $10.
So when you say card, Edward,
Perfect.
when you say card, do you mean like the virtual card that's created via ZoidPay?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So let me show you this flow, and then I'll explain the whole system behind it.
Okay.
The transaction was created. I deposited this amount of EGLD and I received $10 on my virtual Visa card. When I click on see card details, I can actually just show you the
Oh, wow.
card details. That's not an issue. So now I can actually make a transaction of up to $10 at any merchant. And that's it. That's the
Dude,
whole flow.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions, but as you said, you'll go through the flow and kind of explain what's
Yeah.
going on.
So
I'm not a software engineer, so, I would love to know at a deeper level, but yeah, fill us in on what's going on behind the scenes.
of course. So this is an account that I created with the KYC. So the onboarding process works like this. You download the Chrome extension, you create an account, then you're redirected to our partner, to our affiliate partner, so that you can do the KYC, the ML, and get your virtual card. As soon as you get your virtual card, you add it in here. You just copy and paste it, as simple as that. And then you're ready to go. So to make purchases. The onboarding process takes a bit of time initially for the KYC side. But as soon as you're done with it, I mean, you can make purchases like I did just now. So it just takes a couple of, I don't know, seconds, up to 1 minute. Really fast. So the whole system is like this. The first product we put in the market is the ZoidPay Chrome extension. For the Chrome extension, you have two types of cards, because I see another elephant in the room here with the prepaid cards, which are the no KYC cards. So we have the KYC cards. You need to go through the KYC process through ML. You get the KYC card. What are the benefits of the KYC card? So you have 100,000 euro per month spending limit for the KYC cards. And if you do extended proof of funds, you get 100,000 euro per day spending limit. So that's huge.
what do you mean extended proof of funds? Is that like proving your bank account balance and stuff?
Exactly. Yeah, you need to prove the funds, because if you're gonna make purchases of up to 100,000 euro per day, some alerts will come up somewhere.
Yeah, yeah,
So
okay.
you need to be compliant with everything.
Yes.
We have the infrastructure in order for doing the KYC, the ML, and the extended proof of funds, so that no issues appear. These are the benefits of the KYC cards. The prepaid cards, the no KYC cards, only require your name, because you need to have a name on the card. That's for sure. Otherwise, you cannot make the payment. Your name, email, and telephone number, just for the secure code. So for the 2FA, in the case you make a transaction, you will receive an SMS code or an email with that code in order for you to complete the payment. Actually, so I have two big news. So I prepared the news. I wanted to do a tweet on Friday, but I said no. I'm gonna share them in the podcast with the boys.
Please do.
So the first one is today we're finishing the tests for the prepaid cards. So
Nice.
we're fitting the schedule. So the timeline was at the end of March. We're actually doing the final tests today, and they will be available soon. Probably in the next couple of days, I'm gonna make a video with the purchase and with the onboarding to have the prepaid card. This is the first one. The second one, I have it for a question that appeared in your in your tweet from last night.
Okay.
So the benefits of the prepaid cards, you have to share a minimum amount of information to have it. So that's the biggest pro. And the second is that you can make purchases in batches. So you get up to 2,500 euro per month spending limit, which is basically enough to cover your normal expenses. So these are the cars that we're putting in the market right now. To give you a bit more context on it, if you'll allow me, I will better define the whole ecosystem, because the Chrome extension is just a tool in order to show the liquidity capabilities of the ZoidPay underlying tech, so of the ZoidPay core. We have 5 major personas, so 5 pillars. We have the retail, which are the users, shop anything from anywhere with crypto. We have the developers that, using our APIs and SDKs, can build Web 3.0 financial services. We have the platforms, which are represented by blockchains, wallets, and exchanges that can use liquidity as a service. So integrate liquidity with one line of code, and it's basically a SaaS model. So liquidity as a service. Then we have the merchants that can accept crypto payments in less than 3 minutes by getting our wallet and onboarding. And the liquidity providers, which are basically the core of the ecosystem, whether it's liquidity on Maiar DEX, because I saw that Stephen is interested also in this on Twitter, whether it's on the Maiar DEX or in our system of staking. So we have the shopping pools that are basically nodes.
Yeah, that's the way it seemed. It was interesting reading about those shopping pools.
Yeah, there are nodes. So it's just a fancy word of saying nodes, but a fancy word with a meaning, because the shopping pools actually allow you to shop at merchants by having buy now, pay later capabilities. So BNPL.
That's nice.
And the shopping pools can also give out loans. So just a quick walkthrough to the whole ecosystem. The retail side is pretty much what we've covered this year. So the Chrome extension launch in the partnership with Elrond. We are working right now on the mobile application. And the mobile application is basically a Web 3.0 fintech powerhouse, in the sense that you'll have everything integrated in it. I'm going to talk more about this later. And yeah, the tech is about the liquidity. So like you said in the beginning, we have layer 1. Layer 1 are Bitcoin, Ethereum. Issues with scalability, issues with gas fees. You have layer 2s, which are the ones on top of layer 1, providing scalability. So let's say Matic. And we have layer 3. We are positioning ourselves as layer 3, which is the liquidity layer, because you need a bridge to tackle real, metaverse, and other Web 3.0 alternatives that will surface. So the liquidity layer is basically the bridge between having crypto and having funds.
Mm.
Just a quick walkthrough.
Before we move any further into this conversation, I had a security question that came to mind. I saw that virtual card, and I know through my credit card, they issue me a virtual card to help shop online to keep me more secure. How do you guys ensure security through these virtual cards? Do you get multiple different card numbers, or is it just a matter of making sure you keep your card number hidden from other people?
Not only that. So you get the 2FA,
Oh yeah,
which is from Visa and MasterCard, and that's why we're asking for your phone and email address.
okay, yeah.
So basically, for any purchase that you're making, you need to input that 2FA.
In terms of like, I know there's a couple of other current blockchains that are also trying to do some similar things. What do you think makes you guys any different from, let's say, UTRUST, who's also building on the Elrond Network, and how do you guys intend to position yourselves to compete or just collaborate with UTRUST to help each other grow?
That's a good question. It surfaced a lot on Twitter and on our Telegram. The idea is like this. We have a lot of synergies with UTRUST, but UTRUST is a payment platform that's tackling merchant adoption. One of our use cases is in payments, but that's not our focus. So to give you a comparison, it's like putting a Swiss Army knife with the cutleries. So indeed, it can be a fork, but that's not its main purpose. So the way we position ourselves is open architecture for building the next generation of Web 3.0 financial services. And for us, the payment obviously is a use case. So we have payments with different cryptos. We have novel liquidity solutions such as LKMEX, and another one which we're going to build in partnership with Trust Market and the rest of the community engaged with NFTs, pay with NFTs. So you can actually pay with NFTs. So providing liquidity to illiquid assets, it's a challenge for our tech. That's why I wanted to do a quick walkthrough of the ZoidPay tech, because I saw that this question might surface, and it did. It's a valid question, but that's not our vision. So our vision is to create an open architecture that allows anyone with the building blocks that we put together in our APIs and SDKs to build the next generation of Web 3.0 financial services. I mean, if you take a look at what's happening right now in the market, you're going to see that the highest returns are from DeFi protocols, services, platforms, etc., not from TradFi. So it's a huge niche to tap into. I mean, even though the highest returns are from DeFi, you don't see any traditional companies with a huge history in finance offering these type of services. Mm-hmm. Because it's a problem of a culture fit, to be honest. I mean, a traditional company thinks like a traditional company. And that's how we position ourselves antithetical completely with the traditional companies. I mean, we come from the degen farms. We know the protocols. We know the APRs, the yields and everything. We like to harvest. I mean, a traditional company would never understand that you need to harvest. Mm-hmm. I mean, for them, it's agriculture. For us, it's actually a deposit account or a savings account or something like that. So with this idea in mind, we started the journey of having different use cases that we can showcase to the community. One of them being this one. I just saw that I still have the screen sharing. I should stop the screen share.
But as I was doing my research yesterday, I noticed one glaring difference between you and UTRUST is the fact that UTRUST, the companies need to integrate UTRUST in order to be used. But with you guys, it's as simple as bam, Chrome extension, I'm paying with crypto right away, any retailer. There's no need for the retailer to have the line of code. I'm just there.
Yeah, and that's also because they focus on different things. I mean, they're focusing on merchant adoption and merchants accepting crypto payments directly and then doing the settlement via them.
Yeah.
We have the liberty of allowing our users, enabling our users actually to pay at any merchant, indeed. So that's one comparison between one of our use cases and them as a whole business.
Yeah, that's really great. And Alec mentioning that one line of code is something that I noticed on the website as well. So is that thanks to the developers at ZoidPay? Is that thanks to the Chrome extension? I appreciate just the building transparency is kind of ZoidPay's mantra, and integrate crypto liquidity with one line of code is certainly catchy.
Yeah, yeah, we worked on this for 2 years. In this time, we created business relations with liquidity providers, with exchanges, and we have an alliance of exchanges, and we're connected via proprietary APIs to different liquidity providers. And this allows us to offer liquidity to new tokens that reach a certain threshold of volume. And yeah, we have an amazing team. They managed to do, we have a saying at our office, so we managed to pull a Stripe. So like Stripe does with their APIs, we managed to replicate that, transitioned to decentralized finance. So it's basically the API consists of one line of code that actually engages with multiple sets of smart contracts and oracles that communicate on the backend side. And they allow anyone that wants to integrate even to choose with what liquidity providers to work with.
Wow, understood. So is that, if I know that this is a collective effort and lots of different communications between blockchains, is there one blockchain that is the backbone of ZoidPay? Is it Elrond, or is it what the team at ZoidPay has built?
No, it's definitely Elrond. So
Cool.
the backbone is Elrond, and what we're building is on top of Elrond Foundation.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean I'm really happy to hear that, of course. Or not, and I'm curious. I was interfacing with the ZoidPay app on my phone and everything, and I did notice that it was also a question somebody replied on Twitter was when is the ESDT and Maiar kind of going to be more integrated into the actual ZoidPay application on the smartphone?
Yeah, so we're actively working on that. We're gonna do a massive overhaul of the application on iOS and Android as well. We have 250,000 users and downloads for the applications, and it's important for us to tackle this. But at the moment, the application is obsolete, so you can only use it to make transfers on TRC21, so on TOMO chain network.
Gotcha.
for ZPAY. But like I said before, we're transforming it into a fintech powerhouse in the sense that you're going to get ZPAY staking there, ZPAY farms, gamification layers. You'll see your NFTs. You're going to have your card there. And the most important, the card will be with Apple Pay and Google Pay so that you can use your phone to make transactions everywhere.
That's pretty cool, man. As I was researching, it looks like you guys are also able to send out physical cards. I think I read that somewhere on your website that you have the capability to produce and send out physical cards to people.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're gonna soon do that, and not only we're gonna issue for us, so for our users, for the community, we have the capacity of offering co-branded cards. So if a developer wants to build a product that has a liquidity as a value proposition, they can get a co-branded card for their product. So anyone can have a card under our umbrella of licenses and regulations.
Cool. Yeah, and this kind of is related to, but also, is relevant to what was just talked about there. I'm kind of curious. So, as you just gave us that explanation or the demonstration of the Chrome extension, so I guess so. Here's my perspective: is as an investor, I want my capital exposed to cryptocurrency that is represented by cryptocurrency. The way I see it is as soon as I, sell or swap my cryptocurrency into US dollar, at that point it's US dollar. At that point it's, an inflationary asset. So my question to you is, using the Chrome extension, using the top up functionality, can I guess the question is, can do you top up the ZoidPay card with cryptocurrency, or is as soon as you top it up, or however the terminology is, are you selling? Are you exposed to your native currency, your native fiat, or is it the token?
Good question.
Yeah. So right now, when you top it up, it's actually at the moment when you make a purchase.
Mm.
So we have a fixed window of 15 minutes in which we lock the price so that you will be able to perform that transaction.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah. So in the future, from the mobile application, when you make the payments, you don't need to input anything. Everything will be done automatically. And as long as you have funds in your wallets, it's not going to be an issue.
You mentioned staking earlier, Edward, and I think an important piece to talk about with the staking is, if I remember this correctly, you can only stake inside shopping pools. And with my research in the shopping pool, anyone who owns one of these shopping pools, it looks like you make 1% of fees from people doing transactions within your shopping pool. So let's say you have a giant freaking shopping pool and there's like $5 million worth of transactions in 1 month. I mean, you're making a 1% fee on that. And that seems like a decent amount of passive income if you want to flush that out a bit.
Yeah. So there are a lot of opportunities for shopping pool owners. They're basically nodes and they have a 15% APY. They have 1% of the whole staking revenue generated by the pool. And when, like you said earlier, when someone makes a purchase from their pool, they actually get 1% of the cashback. So not the whole value. Yeah, 1% of the cashback. But the main value proposition for the shopping pool owners is the fact that they can offer loans and they can facilitate buy now, pay later. And the loans will be done differently. So will be done by the community, for the community. And the only ones that will get to benefit out of these loans will be the shopping pool members and shopping pool owners, obviously.
Well, one of my big questions with loans is how does one enforce people to pay back the loans? You know, if it's a Web 3.0, who is the credit card man coming to your door and saying, pay this loan back? You know, how does that work?
So every loan right now given in Web 3.0 is based on a collateral. So you need to have a collateral, and we just increased the threshold for you to get a loan. So for example, if you have 10,000 ZPAY staked or just holding it in your wallet, you can get a loan of up to 7,000 ZPAY. So 70% of your collateral can be taken as a loan.
Okay, so if it wasn't paid back, then obviously
Yeah, exactly.
makes sense. Got it.
Yeah, that reminds me, I've interacted a little bit with Celsius Network. I know that their shtick was definitely this ability to borrow and lend. I looked at it, but I'll be honest, like it looked a little bit confusing. It was related to that question, Alec, is it looked like it was more of a now I'm struggling for the concept, but it wasn't in that similar fashion, or it had a liquidity event. I thought that I saw within Celsius. I'm not familiar with that platform, but I'm curious if for those who are watching who might be more familiar with Celsius, does Celsius, rather is ZoidPay similar to what Celsius is offering? Are they doing something similar? And if so, what kind of is similar or different about the two?
Yeah. It's somewhat similar, just to explain a bit, somewhat similar in the sense that it's the same outcome. So a user gets a loan. The way the loan is given is by the community in our case. So users offer from the ZPAY that they have staked enough liquidity to cover loans. And for those loans, they actually get to negotiate the interest with the shopping pool owner. So it's communication between the shopping pool owner and his community members, his Zoidsters.
Mm.
They get to talk, to discuss. Everything is automated, so they have an interface in which they make this process more streamlined, and then the loan is given to the user. We have also margin calls and
Yeah,
other
margin
stuff like
call is
that.
the word I was looking for earlier.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
So
That,
go ahead, Steven.
Yeah, just one last question regarding, I mean, I'm sure we'll wrap back around to it, but the shopping pool is something that really intrigues me. Lots of incentives, which initially, just a natural question is just, from a term or from opportunity cost perspective, should I own Elrond or should I own ZPay? So this, discovering these shopping pools was really intriguing for me. So any information about these shopping pools? It looks like the next event to purchase one of these is coming up. I noticed an infographic that says the only requirement is to stake at least 100,000 ZPay, but then I saw somewhere else that you need to have these staked for at least a year. So I'm definitely super eager and would love to participate and try to get one of these shopping pools, which is another question is what's the sign up, like how do you, is it a whitelist? I know that was some kind of the terminology, but yeah, I mean, shopping pools, let us know and answer some of those questions if you can.
Of course, of course. So we're actively working right now on shifting the whole staking system and shopping pool management dashboard to Elrond smart contracts. So everything will be smart contract based. We're working with our tech team and Elrond's tech team actively working on this and bouncing back and forth with different ideas. The shopping pool sale will be soon. So we're in the final stages of finishing the smart contracts, having them tested, and then announcing the flow for the shopping pool sale. Basically, you need to have 100,000 ZPay staked in order to claim one. Indeed, you need to have them staked for one year, so 12 months.
Okay.
For those, you get all the benefits listed there. So APY, 1% of the revenue generated in staking, 1% cashback, NFTs, and different other, let's say, ZoidPay stuff. We coined the term, so it's ZoidPay is actually the gamification layer in
like
which we allow the NFTs that we're launching right now. So the Zoidster collection has a lot of utilities in the sense that you get cashback boosts, you get staking boosts, you get different power-ups that you can use in your shopping pool in order to increase your ROI, obviously. These will all soon be announced, and actually it's going to be a long article that Farim will write on
cool. Good luck for him.
yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. So these Zoidster NFTs, is that correct?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the emphasis for a lot of NFTs is, the utility they provide. I thought it was really cool that Nojin and NFT building on Elrond partnered with Aerovec, which is, of course, that a new token on Maiar DEX as well. And, you had to, stick with Aerovec to get on the whitelist. So do you foresee, are there plans to give these Zoidster NFTs a similar utility? And if so, will it be related to these shopping pools? is that a utility that's going to be with these NFTs, or are there other utilities that might be associated with those?
Yeah, definitely. There are a lot of utilities associated with the Zoidster NFT collection. So the staking boosts, power ups, cashback boosts, and different ZPAY prizes are just the beginning, because we're planning on having a full-on gamification layer on top of ZoidPay. It's gonna be interesting because we're also gonna have a new token in the ecosystem. The token will be called WAND. The way it will work is adding the second layer of the gamification system. So basically, it's going to be a full degen token on Elrond ecosystem that will provide huge APRs. I mean, 400%, 500%, 1000%, and it will have a lot of novelties in regards to the tech we're putting in the market right now. So the first invention, let's call it, because I'm calling it an invention because it's patent pending. So we have a patent pending, which is called regulated funds management method and transfer. And this relates to ILF. We coined the term, which is ILF, which means instant liquidity farming. When you harvest something, instead of getting the tokens and then making a transaction with the tokens, we just simply top up your card with the equivalent in fiat of the tokens.
Oh,
interesting.
Yeah.
So I was I guess giggling at the APRs you're talking about, because they in fact did remind me of, you know, those early stage LKMEX rewards in those first you know, bootstrapping phases. So I mean, that brings up a question. I don't want to get it too, you know, off topic, but what I mean, I'm very not concerned, but interested to understand this idea of dilution and how these APRs are, you know, not necessarily just LKMEX, but this you know, token that's coming to a ZPAY. Do you, I mean, and also too, is there kind of a lock mechanism that will be, you know, integrated as well? Or yeah, I'll just kind of open it up. Is this, do you see these high APRs as a dilutionary mechanism that would be kind of inherently negative?
Not necessarily. So we did the math, and we have, for staking and for the new token, up to 5 years. So the supply that we allocated for the staking is up to 5 years. And the way we thought about the locking period is so that the token doesn't become inflationary. Just adopting new users and making them acquainted with our tech. So for example, for the new token, you're going to have some pretty interesting farms and a pretty crazy system. So let me tell you about it a bit. Not going to share a lot, but you're going to have 3 farms in the beginning. So you can farm ZPay with huge APRs. You can farm NFTs, and you can farm benefits. Benefits in the sense that you allocate a certain number of WAND and you get a 10% staking boost for your ZPays.
Oh, that's like a perk for like Call of Duty or something.
Exactly.
So speaking, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry.
Speaking of staking, ZPay, is the ZPay that you earned locked at all? Or is that completely liquid the moment that you earn those rewards?
It's going to be liquid.
Oof, that's nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's going to be liquid. You need certain thresholds to stake in each of the farms. So in order to stake for the one ZPay farm, you need a certain amount of WAND. Once you staked, added liquidity basically in all 3 farms, you get the Alchemy Lab in front of you. And the Alchemy Lab actually allows you to get the LPs from each of the farms, mix them, and get a special reward.
Wow. man, it's just so crazy how, again, going back to that idea of, how solutions have come along to open the door for the sky's the limit opportunity. And I mean, it was kind of a lesson that I learned through the launch of the Maiar DEX was, I got into Elrond, and then I learned about staking, and then I participated, and then Maiar DEX came along, and I had to put time and energy into understanding it. And it's as I mean, as you're speaking and as we move forward here, it's like, wow, like it's going to be a stream of new ideas to learn and to process and to wrap our minds around. Like, wow, I mean, it's just I'm just expressing my excitement, and my mind is like in the midst of being blown. It's like, wow, like this is really just like a brand new, just I don't even know, ecosystem, to say the very least. It's just ready. It's fertile soil for things to build and to grow, and all that good stuff.
Exactly.
I think a question that we still need to have answered, Edward, is what's up with this locked MEX and purchasing at different retailers? I think the whole community is curious because I know a lot of us in the community utilize the locked MEX exchange in order to get liquidity with our locked MEX. So I think another platform that is offering some type of liquidity solution for locked MEX is greatly needed, and people are very interested in what they can do with their locked MEX.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we did a couple of purchases with LockMax. The system is in place. It's functional. I'm gonna have a video soon purchasing something with LockMax pushed out to the community. We're gonna so as you saw on Twitter, there are a couple of tiers that allow you to make payments with LockedMax. So you need to have at least 50,000 ZPAY in order for you to access illiquid payment solutions, NFTs, LockedMax, and other types of payment. You need to have ZPAY.
Makes sense.
So yeah, and LockedMax, the question that surfaces the most is the ratio, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah. So we also know LockedMax exchange, and we thought of it this way, that if the community makes an engagement, so a promise with the 50,000 ZPay, we need to cover the promise on our end. And for this, the ratio will be dynamic. So the ratio will be depending on how many ZPays you have, 50,000 being the base threshold, and it can go up to one-on-one with MEX.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's going to be dynamic. It's going to be mitigated by a smart contract. And depending on your ZPay amount, the locked MEX can be one-on-one with MEX.
So you're saying by earning free money on the Maiar DEX, and depending on the amount of ZPay tokens I have, I could possibly do a one-to-one transaction.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Like that truly is crazy, because I mean, some people have some decent farms out there that are earning quite a bit of locked rewards, and to be able to liquidate those rewards one-to-one, that's incredibly powerful.
Totally. So, question off of that, will perhaps if you own a shopping pool, or of course if you're staking, is that if you own the shopping pool, will those 100,000 ZPay be considered for that kind of LockMex threshold and dictate the ratio, or is that like a kind of a separate kind of like staking pool?
It's going to be a mix, actually.
Okay.
So it's going to be a mix of kind of like metabonding. Think of it like our metabonding, our internal metabonding for giving the community the best possible benefits. So if you engage with us, we have an index for it. If you have a shopping pool, if you have ZPay staked, if you did the purchases, if you did different actions, you will have an index. And based on that index, you will get the locked max ratio.
Will it almost be as if, I know you said that the shopping pools are nodes, so similar to Elrond, if you're running a node on Elrond and you get enough, knocks or demerits, is it, a similar fashion to where, the best, producers per se will be rewarded?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Very cool. So I like, I mean, we talked about Doge earlier, but that other meme coin, I think it was just Shib or Shiba. Like, I liked what they did with just the terminology they used. They just they really dumbed down the entire idea of staking and farming and all this stuff. And I think that's really what paid tribute to, Shib's success. Was just, you go on the website, it's like you're digging bones. I never really got into it. But I like what, as you've shared with us today, ZoidPay has taken what could, at first glance be technical, confusing terms, and they've almost, created a visual representation of it that's much more, visual. Like a shopping pool. Like for some reason, like I literally envision that, a little brick and mortar setup, and I don't have to deal with this like, confusion of like, oh, what's a validator, what's a node. Like, it's just, you don't have to think about what you don't need to.
Yeah, yeah, exactly,
These
exactly.
these shopping pools, man, Edward, you make me really want to get one. And I think a question that we didn't have answered was: is this a free for all, purchasing these shopping pools, or is it like an organized line? How does one almost ensure or even try to participate in? I know the 100,000 threshold of ZPay tokens, but how does one get one or get in line?
We're gonna have a whitelist process also,
Okay.
for half of the shopping pools that we put for sale now. So it's gonna be 100 shopping pools, 50 with whitelist, and 50 first come first served.
That is going to be a race. I'll tell you that right now.
It'll be
Definitely a
like
race.
minting an NFT.
Oh my
Definitely.
God. Or
We
hopefully not like Hollow Ride.
Yeah, just the token release is what you're referring to.
Yeah.
Hmm.
we had a I mean, great traction with the first batch. So the first batch we had in December, and we locked in the first batch 63 million ZPay.
I
So
saw that.
the whole circulating supply is 290 million, and in the first 100 shopping pools batch we locked 63. That's amazing. I mean, it was really
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, which, as you mentioned, just slightly, that has to do with tokenomics. Just quick question: anybody watching who might be curious, so the ZPay that has been allocated to Metabonding, where is that represented in the distribution of ZPay?
It's from the reserve.
Mm.
Awesome, cool. That
Yeah.
just a quick question there, but I think some people might be curious about that, so appreciate that.
Yeah, we didn't want to compromise the 100 million ZPay fund that we have for staking, and we decided to mark it as a marketing expense and take it out from the reserve.
Awesome.
So you said 100 million ZPay fund for staking. Are those the rewards that are distributed to people who are participating in the shopping pools?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Super cool. Yeah, I mean, it's really great talking about all of these things. But I have to make sure we get this question answered too while we are still on the topic of LKMEX and, or no, not LKMEX, but liquidity providers, because as I've expressed interest in the shopping pool. So, for liquidity providers, right now, just having the opportunity on Maiar DEX, you get a portion of the fees, and I know that the DEX has some some thresholds you need to pass to create your own pool. So speak on that. Speak on some of the utilities, or rather, some of the benefits that liquidity, as you say, the backbone is Elrond, but of course, without liquidity, you're nothing. So people who are going out on a limb to provide liquidity for ZPay, what's in it for us other than ownership of these assets?
Okay, so first we had that campaign with 1 million ZPay that were distributed with 4 random snapshots over the course of 1 month. But now based on the ratio that you have from the liquidity pool, we're going to have an index. And that index will also be gamified and used to reward you outside of the Elrond ecosystem, especially in the Maiar DEX, in the shopping pools, or if you do staking, we're going to know that that's your address based on the smart contracts, and we're going to reward you in private with this type of gamification. So
Cool.
we're going to have a lot more details coming in the next couple of days, but everybody needs to be incentivized, and we're really humbled by the fact that once we launched on Maiar DEX, a lot of the community members started adding liquidity, and it was really, really crazy. I mean, amazing.
Yeah.
And thank you. Personally, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, gosh, it was so exciting when in anticipation for the Maiar DEX, and just as Alec and I have gotten excited about several times in previous episodes, like, wow, like we are so young early, we're so early here in this ecosystem, and we're here, you know, to try to help and try to figure out where exactly we can fit and be helpful, because obviously Elrond is, you know, trying rather positioned to onboard the next 1 billion. So the question off of that is ZoidPay really focused on these to be onboarded users of Elrond, or is ZPay, I mean, I kind of can I guess the answer, but is ZPay also trying to essentially, you know, grab on even more people, you know, aside from maybe who Elrond might potentially grab?
Definitely, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the best use case for Elrond's blockchain capabilities is by building the next generation of financial services on top of it. I mean, internet scale adoption, internet scale capabilities. We worked our asses for 4 years to have this moment in front of us. Uh, Now we're making the most of it. I mean, just to give you an idea, we have in our backlog 10 partnerships pending with top 100 blockchains for providing liquidity.
Let's go.
Wow.
Exactly. Yeah. So on top of that, we work with multiple communities of developers without being vocal about it, without sharing it on Twitter, regarding our APIs and SDKs for them to build different services. So having Elrond that as the backbone and as the foundation allows us to scale faster than ever before, and obviously bring a lot of adoption to Elrond as a network and to the Elrond community.
Um, Edward, I see that you guys are number 28, 24 on CoinMarketCap, and I know one of your guys' big goals and plans is to eventually become ranked number 100 or make your way into that top 100 list. Can you give us a little breakdown on what are some of the bigger moves that you guys are going to make to try to get there that you are able to share upon right now? And like, what makes you, what in your mind, why is ZoidPay capable of making that top 100 rank?
Well,
Also,
so
if I may,
CoinMarketCap has an issue. So they have self-reporting. If you look on CoinGecko, you will see the actual position that we have. So it's 452. So right now we're in top 500, and yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, uh, we just started with the roadmap. We just did a couple of things from what we want to accomplish this year. So to answer your question, top 100 will be when ZoidPay is the crypto liquidity leader. And that's what we're working on this year, to be the crypto liquidity leader. We need to close as many partnerships with blockchains as possible to promote Elrond, to promote the Elrond network, to promote the tech behind it, as many exchanges as possible, and as many communities of developers that will play with our APIs and SDKs. And once we have all of those in place, so this year is the hyperscalability year for us. And the next year will be the building stage layer for all the companies that we partnered up with.
Very cool.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that you guys are aiming high. Go ahead, Stephen.
Yeah, yeah. I appreciate you with that question, Alec, because I don't know that's a lot of interest of how are people going to see ZoidPay, climb these ranks, and I kind of want to open that up to more of a discussion on your behalf, Edward, of in terms of the ZoidPay roadmap. Obviously there are a lot of things on it I've taken note of, but what can we kind of expect from a high level in terms of communication from the team? And then more specifically, like just in the coming, we'll say, next quarter or so, and then up through the end of year 2022, what would you say are personally some of the biggest bullet points that you feel as the CEO? What standard are you holding the team at ZoidPay to for this year?
So this year we don't have any weekends. We started the year like this. The gems that are the key to scalability and to mass adoption are in Q3 and Q4. So the APIs and SDKs. Until then, we lay out the foundation, and we lay it out with the Chrome extension, the mobile application, the prepaid cards, Apple Pay, Google Pay, gamification layer, NFTs, the Degen token, the farms. We're also going to have inside of Maiar DEX farms and other benefits as part of the Metabonding program, obviously. So these will lay out the foundation for what's to come. On top of that, partnerships, really big names that are actually working with our tech right now to provide liquidity for their users. A lot of exchanges. So just to give you a heads up, we signed agreements with right now. Actually, today we're going to sign with another one. So 8 exchanges so far.
Heck
Wow,
yeah,
awesome.
man. That's great.
Yeah, it's
Right,
crazy. It's
right
crazy.
now, Maiar is the only place that you can purchase ZPay. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's wild,
and
Edward.
yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, it's kind of like you go to the Super Bowl. I mean, you get excited, and when you get there, you need to perform. So this is it for us. So the whole year is like the Super Bowl event. We need to perform on a daily basis. Yeah,
Totally.
and not only new exchanges, but exchanges that also use our tech to offer cards to their users. So it's even more engaging.
Yeah. So some of the explanations you've given, you've made reference to SDK, APIs. So I'm learning myself about what these acronyms mean. But for those, including myself, who need to hear more, what is an SDK? What is an API? Are these things for developers, builders? What are these things?
So basically, just to explain it like you said with the SHIB example, they are building blocks for developers or for companies to integrate inside their platform in order to have our capabilities. So basically, they are integrations with us in order to offer liquidity to their user base.
Gotcha. So these are basically developer tools for them to...
Developer tools. Yeah, a developer
Understood.
kit, let's say. A developer kit in order to integrate our tech.
That's excellent. Some questions came up much earlier when you were referring to these cards. So many people had asked specifically about KYC. When is that going to be, no longer a thing? Because, obviously people are curious, but as you were speaking, it became clear to me, it's like KYC is arguably or not arguably the slowest process in the blockchain process. So I mean, I'm curious on that. And then if you remember per se, what are your thoughts on regulation, and how do you see regulation? You know, it's kind of intertwined with this whole KYC discussion. Inform, you know, myself and Alec and, you know, everybody listening, you know, the process as to when we can see some progress with these cards and KYC.
Yeah, so regulations are actually the most important part of the business aspect right now, because we're fully compliant with everything that we do, with the KYC, with the ML, with the card issuance. Through our partners at Affiliate, we can issue Visa, MasterCard, JCB, and UnionPay. So we're basically tackling the whole globe with it. And yeah, being fully compliant is the most important thing, because it allows you to scale faster and to attract new markets. So to develop new markets. Right now, the KYC for us is for the SEPA zone. And the prepaid cards will be available worldwide. But in April, we're going to have the KYC also available worldwide. So for example, if you're in Asia, you can choose what type of card you want to receive. If you want to receive a UnionPay card, that's not an issue.
Gotcha. So yeah, just in the role of CEO, what is your, I mean, just more personally, like, what is your job? What does it look like, you know, to be a CEO of this company in this industry, you know, at this time?
It's really challenging. I mean, it's like discovering a new territory, to be honest. Every day you have different, you need to tackle different aspects of the business. I mean, we started small. Now we're 23 people full time in the company. We just scaled, and we have a new headquarters. We're hiring this year 30 more people.
Wow.
50 more people the next year, and 70 more people in 3 years. So we have our long-term plans. And that's important, because there was a quote, a really nice quote: if you don't see the horizon line, you don't know where you're going. So for us, the horizon line is always the vision that we started with, and it remains still the same as of today. So small team, when we started, we all have different hats to wear, most of the hats. I mean, we tackled marketing, we tackled tech, we tackled sales, everything. I mean, absolutely everything. But right now, being a bigger team, we managed to build a strong team, and the tech team is really amazing. I mean, they're working, they're nonstop. They're working nonstop. I mean, weekends, holidays, because they're excited about what we're building, and that's the perfect mix. So I tackled the vision behind the product, the product, as in technical infrastructure, as in features, as in deploying different mechanisms of liquidity. And I like to stay close to the community, and I post a lot on Twitter. I like to engage with the community, and also on the partnership side. I said earlier that we have 3 days integration time. When we started, it was so difficult to explain the process and the product, and I had different ways of iterating what ZoidPay actually does. But since the beginning of the year till now, we have a closing time of a new partnership. Zoom call, 15 minutes, demo. This is what it does. You don't need to integrate anything. We can show it to you in 2 days, and then the partnership is signed. So we're streamlining whatever we can do in order to make the scalability faster. It's like blitzscaling, like Reid Hoffman said. Move fast and break things. And if you're not ashamed of the first version of your product, then you did something wrong. You launched too late.
Totally. Yeah, I mean that's really positive. I like that you that clearly there was a focus on, how can we
Yeah.
bring this to a small explanation. Even on the phone, I was speaking with my dad today, who's in his 60s, and I was still trying to get him, not to get him, I was trying to teach him what the blockchain is, and how Elrond is the layer one, and I was trying to relate, a layer one as, an operating system that, programmers can build software on top of. And, similarly, the layer one is, the blockchain, and on top of that, tokens can build. And it was, I love my dad, and I love teaching people, but I want to encourage, all of us and myself too. I'm preaching to myself, like, we need to enjoy and get into these conversations, because the best way to learn is, to first familiarize yourself, and your brain truly needs to just like dive in deep to it. Just the same way when I first started learning about Maiar DEX, I was just like, what in the heck is this? Like, I need to learn. And that was once unfamiliar to me, is now second nature. And as this industry, this technology continues to grow and develop, this is just one more, lesson of, man, we all really need to get excited, and I think we all need to do our part to understand, and all do our part to each be able to streamline the information to, every opportunity we have, we're able to actually, do what's going on here justice in explaining it to people so they understand. Because I really think that that's going to be one of the main driving factors of onboarding is, can you explain something to somebody, so quickly, but not for the sake of speed, because the emphasis is you did it quickly because it was simple, not because you jumped over a lot of important pieces. But you do it quickly because it's simple, because it's straightforward. And again, it's that element of the person who is trying to learn and potentially be onboarded. They don't have much to think about. It's just a seamless, just natural flow. And I think that all falls into the laps of everybody who's here now learning. It's all of our jobs to support the community, support each and every one of these little projects, big projects that is, and just all build together. And I mean, that's really what blockchain and decentralization is about, is just this focus on what we can build as individuals. And the last thing I'll kind of put here is just, I really enjoyed on the website, it says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I saw that some weeks, months ago, and I could say a lot about it, but I think that the statement speaks for itself. So, Alec, if you've got any other questions, feel free to pop them in. I'll leave it there. If you have anything, Alec.
No, man. I just want to say that the moment I first heard about ZoidPay, it piqued my interest, because I remember just hearing about, bam, virtual card ready to top up with EGLD or whatever cryptocurrency you're able to use, and you're able to go purchase it anywhere. And I think that was the most attractive thing about it, is it did seem simple. And now as I learn more, it just seems more and more, it makes sense. It makes sense what you guys are doing, and I'm very excited to see what you guys do in the future too, because I mean, this whole thing, it just makes a lot of sense. And you guys participating in Metabonding, and the whole community staking their LKMEX just to get a piece of what you guys have, I think says a lot. And I think we're all excited to see what you guys do with this, and I just wish you guys the best of luck and the best of success to you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, Edward. So with that being said, the red carpet, or however they say it, is all yours. How would you like to kind of leave everybody who's tuning in today, as the CEO of ZoidPay? What are your final remarks for everybody?
So first of all, it was really fun being with you guys. I know it's very late for you. For us in Romania, it's lunch. For you, it's, I don't. It's 4 and
It's
2.
not even breakfast time. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's 4:30.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel like
So
it's a late night for me, but an early morning for Alec.
Yep.
So really appreciate this. It's been a lot of fun. And I want to end with I said in the beginning that I have two big news.
Oh,
Mm.
yes, bring it on.
So the second biggest is, which is in fact epic, and the first in terms of magnitude. We're in the final stages of buying a digital bank right now.
No shit.
Wow.
Exactly.
Really?
So
Oh shit.
there was a question there. I was waiting for you guys, fill it or twist pay.
Mm.
And
I saw that, yeah.
that question, I said in my mind last night, today, so tomorrow actually at the podcast is the perfect time to announce this. So we're in the final stages of acquiring a digital bank. This will allow
Wow.
us to scale even further, even faster, fully compliant, offering every possible traditional finance service that we're going to transition to DeFi.
Wow.
Heck yes.
So that's quite the explosion to end things on. I'll just go ahead and end it with that, everybody. Gosh, what an exciting
You heard
conversation
it
this
here
has
first.
been. Hey,
Exactly.
yeah, heard it here
Exactly.
first. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This has been an awesome ZoidPay special. Alec, Edward, anything else you guys want to leave?
Nah, man. Just thank you, Edward, and we appreciate you breaking that news on here, man. That's pretty sick stuff, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you everybody for tuning in to the ZoidPay special on podcast Elrond. Go ahead and follow each of us on Twitter. As Edward just said, I've witnessed it myself. He's there. He's a real person, as you can see, and he is happy to talk. So go ahead and we'll see you online, and we'll see you in the next episode of podcast Elrond.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. It's been sick. Peace.